I'm here with Rivaldo Soares, who just announced his commitment to Oregon. And I got to tell you, this is a fun one for me because I got to watch Waldo in high school up until about 2 years ago at O'Brien and with Expressions Elite. And I'm going to be honest, Waldo, I didn't think you were a high major guy. And 2 years later, you have absolutely killed it in junior college, had a ton of high major recruitment, and now you're headed to the Ducks. So I'm excited to kind of trace this journey back with you.
Yeah, I'm with you on that one. 2 years ago, I don't think I was, a major player at that time.
So let's
But
talk about that. You were at O'Brien High School and you kind of took like the
yeah,
road less traveled because you didn't go to prep school. You stayed in the city, right in Boston, for those who aren't familiar. And there was a lot of like pride in that for you and staying in Boston, right?
a little bit, definitely
And,
some pride in that. I was in the
and
city, doing my
right.
thing in the city.
And you had a great high school career, right? I mean, what were some of your things you're most proud of as you look back at that high school career?
Um, I would definitely say the All Scholastics. I think I was a 3-time All Scholastic for the Globe and the Herald.
Gotcha.
So I put that up there, And then for the city pride, All-Star appearances, getting my 1,000 points and staying at one school for 4 years and really being, the face of that team for 4 years.
No doubt, no doubt. And I think really the pride of the pride of the city in a lot of ways from a high school basketball standpoint. I mean, I think a
Mm-hmm.
lot of people were thrilled to be able to see you there. But now, correct me if I'm wrong, but you were kind of forced to go junior college route because of the academics. Is that right?
Yeah,
But
my first couple of years of high school, I definitely wasn't into the books, wasn't serious,
right.
and I didn't see myself as a high major player. So it really didn't click to me that this could be like a potential like dream for me. I can get into school.
In
So off of those 2 years, my recruitment was kind of slow off bat because coaches first call, hey, how's his grades?
right.
And they're not that good.
Right. No, I remember that being part of the research back then. But in the 2 years
Definitely.
since, not only have you figured it out academically, matured off the floor, but it seems like your game has gone to totally new levels. So for those who haven't kept up with you since those O'Brien and Expression days, talk to us about what the last 2 years have been like.
It's been a grind. JUCO is always gonna be a grind. It's a slow route, but it's just a route I had to take, and it's done. I'm very, very grateful for these 2 years. I've developed more as a player and most importantly, more as a man, and got my grades right. And I knew on the court was never going to be a problem for me. Like people still got to show me that they're better than me.
Right.
So that's all that was, grinding here at JUCO for 2 years.
And now the way from what I've seen on tape, it seems like you've evolved athletically. It seems like you're in the best
Yeah,
shape of your life. It seems like
definitely.
you can defend multiple positions. You can stretch the floor with your
Before.
shooting range. So I know that versatility is a big part of the value at Oregon. But talk to me about the recruiting process this time around. So I know you had a huge season in the junior college ranks, and again, correct me if I'm wrong, but you've got 3 years of eligibility left, right?
Yeah, like Coach Green here says, it's one of the luckiest classes ever.
Right.
Played a whole year and it doesn't count.
Right. So you've got 3 years headed to Oregon. And so what
Mm-hmm.
was it about Oregon and in this recruiting process that really stood out to you?
You know, so they were one of the first high major schools to hit me up.
Mhm.
So that's gonna automatically, put them up there, especially, that being a dream to play high major. But I say their coaching staff does a really, really good job at their job. They made me feel warm and welcome with every text, every call. And they were the most consistent, most definitely, especially the assistant Mike, persistent, and usually every athlete gets that feeling when coaches are kind of annoying, and I never got that sense of anything being annoying with them. And they really focused on major points that I was looking at
Gotcha.
for a school I was going to choose.
And they're also a program that's had a lot of success with older guys. I mean, even from the New England area, Chris Duarte, who I think was
Yeah.
24 years old. I mean, he played at Redemption Christian back when it was Massachusetts, in Massachusetts. And so did any of that resonate with you? Did you have any
Oh,
connection with guys like that?
um, that part of the recruitment definitely like engaged my thoughts a lot more because Coach Ullman's coach JUCO. A bunch of them have coached AU, coached JUCO, and they've had a bunch of guys come into the program and do well from JUCO. So that definitely had an impact on my decision because I'm the next JUCO product up.
For sure, for sure. Yeah. Now the before I let you go, I want to ask you about your roots with Expressions. Obviously, you know, you guys have had some tragedy here with Terrence Clark passing away, who I know is a you played with Terrence, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's
So
the youngin' on my team. My last year on 17.
gotcha. And who
Freshman.
else was on that team when you look back? Who did you play with in those EYBL days?
A bunch of guys who had UMass, on my team. Noah Fernandez, Trey Mitchell, who's at UMass, DeAndre Dominguez, Preston Santos. So those are a bunch of my teammates that are over there.
Gotcha.
Terrence being at Kentucky.
Right. Right. Well, of course, this is a hard time for a lot of people, especially in the Expressions Lead family. But I know they are especially proud of
Definitely.
you and what you've accomplished, and hopefully, this gives them a little bit of a break to be able to recognize the accomplishments you've made, because this is really a tremendous story. You were, as I said, a kid coming out of O'Brien that while you were celebrated on the basketball court, never really had a chance to be recruited at the level you deserved because of the academics, but you got your academics right. And simultaneously, you took your game to totally unprecedented levels. So it's a real cool story, man. I appreciate you hopping on with me to talk about it. And
Yes,
hopefully
sir.
it sets,
Thank you.
yeah, hopefully I think your example is a really positive one for kids who, maybe didn't do what they needed to do academically. And this just shows them they can get it right and figure it out. And looking forward to watching you next year at Oregon and in the Pac-12.
Yes, sir.
All right,
Appreciate that, man.
That's Rivaldo Soares. He might not have been high major back in high school, but he's high major now.
Yes, sir. Rest in peace, Terrence Clark.